All right, chat. We're going to watch a video that I saw on my suggested thing. This is something regarding something that talked about yesterday. For those of you that know or watch my stream, I raced to 80 basically as quickly as I could. Not going like, 40 hours at a time or 36 hours at a time. I basically got up at a time when the queues were not too bad and played as long as I could, went to bed, had a good night's sleep, got up, rinse and repeat. And on the third day, I hit 80. So not too bad. But I told people, like, when I started, we did Nexus first, grinded till 73. Then at 73, I had a spot in Dragonblight where, as a Warlock, it was super easy to grind. And I grinded there in like 1 day to 77. And then the next day, I decided to start using the Rested XP quest add-on that I have, because I realized that all that time grinding up, I wasn't really making any gold. I wasn't getting a lot of other stuff out of it. And quite frankly, the grind was just rough. Like, you're just doing mind-numbing stuff for the over and over and over again. So I think if I, like, when I level my alts, I don't think I'm going to do like, I don't think I'm going to do like Nexus and then grind those mobs and stuff like that. I think I'm honestly going to quest. So anyways, I think honestly, like, if I had to do it over again, I would just quest. And with using the Rested XP guide, and again, this isn't really an advertisement. I'm not sponsored by Rested XP. I do actually have a code, but I'm not like advertising it or anything like that. So the code word is Alodar, by the way. Anyways, I started using the guide, and I'm like, you know what? This seems to be just basically as fast as grinding mobs, and I was making a ton more money. So if I level any more alts, I think I'm just going to quest. So I saw this video by Metagoblin earlier today. Why dungeon leveling is a huge mistake in Wrath of the Lich King. And I'm kind of curious as to whether or not he's got a lot of the same views as I do. Like, honor that you miss, gold that you miss, that's 2. And just enjoyment of the game, that's 3 right off the bat. I wonder what he's got to say. Let's see what he says. Let me know if this sounds good for you guys.
Video. Today I'm going to be talking about why I honestly think dungeon leveling in Wrath of the Lich King is just pretty crap.
It is pretty crap.
I don't think it serves the average player the best. I just don't think for the average player it really is the best thing to do. I think dungeon leveling is pretty pointless unless you're going for some kind of realm first achievement. I've made guides.
If I was going for realm first, I wouldn't be questing.
Leveling guides and prep guides and everything like that. These guides are more tailored towards sweaty try-hard players. And I will be doing dungeon leveling myself, but really it is just to create an entertaining stream where I'm pushing for a certain big achievement to get people to watch my stream in the first place. And that's it. But if I wasn't a streamer, if I wasn't a YouTuber, I wouldn't be doing dungeon leveling. This is just going to be my unfiltered, brutally honest advice when it comes to leveling. Let me explain why I think dungeon leveling is pretty bad. So, first of all, if you're doing 5-man runs, well, the leveling is slower. It's just simply slower than open world leveling, because you're going to hit the instant cap at about 40 minutes into an hour of grinding the dungeon and have to wait around for 20 minutes to do the dungeon again. People have
some dungeons you will. I think a lot of groups are still not hitting their dungeon cap. So that's not entirely true. I know there were lots of dungeon groups that were not hitting their 5 per hour. Really fast ones were for sure, but I'm not sure that the average one was.
Calculated how long it takes to grind all the way to level 80 in a 5-man. It's 28 hours. That's a lot of time, where the average player could do 24 hours open world leveling. Now, I know what people are probably thinking. Oh, well...
when I said that the Rested XP guide that I was using, it was super fast. Like, I leveled the last 3 levels, and it seemed to go by, like, really fast. So, I tend to agree with them. Like, if you're organized, the problem is a lot of people aren't using, like, a guide, Rested XP guide or another one. they're just kind of going and grabbing a bunch of quests and then going out and doing them, and it's not really organized, and it takes a lot longer to do that. If you're using a guide that is, got an arrow above your head and it's just telling you exactly where to go, and it's kind of, really easy to follow along, it is super fast. And you get all the gold and items and stuff like that as well. You come out with a lot more gold. I think somebody said that if you level from 70 to 80 just doing questing, you'll make something like 4,000 gold or something like that. And I tell you what, I didn't make anywhere near that. Like from 70 to 73, I made maybe a few. I want to say a few hundred. It wasn't a lot. And then from 77 to 73 to where was I here? So where I grinded over in Dragonblight, in the mines or whatever they are down here, you don't have time to stop and really pick up a lot of stuff. So you're not making a lot of gold. You're certainly not making anywhere near as much as you are doing questing. Because your goal, if you're doing this stuff, is to kill mobs as fast as possible, to level up as fast as possible. If you're stopping to actually pick up loot and stuff like that, you're dramatically slowing down how fast you're killing mobs and making it kind of pointless for you to do it in the first place. Because even if you're picking up the loot, you're still not making as much money. But if you're stopping to pick up the loot, then you're not XPing as fast as doing questing either, which is, especially if you've got one of these extremely organized guides. So that's just my suggestion there. So anyways.
I'm going to be like competing against a million other players to do like one single quest, and there's going to be loads of lag and stuff like that. But there probably just won't be, guys. Think back to the TBC Classic launch. It was buttery smooth. And even when you were on a pretty heavily populated layer, you could get your quests completed because everything just respawned so ridiculously fast. It's actually at a point where, say for instance, you got to pick a quest item off the floor, it would just instantly respawn after you've looted it, so you could just camp the same item. It wasn't difficult to quest at all on the TBC Classic launch, and it very likely won't be for this launch. Especially as you can actually trick the game to putting you on a better, lower populated layer. All you got to do is chill in Outland, turn in some quests that you've got pre-prepared, go to Northrend a bit later, and then you'll end up on a much better layer with less people on it. By the way, guys, I would appreciate if you did throw me a quick sub. Subscribers are going to get access to a future subscriber-only gold guide for WOTLK Classic, which is going to be an immense amount of work, so you've got that to look forward to. But anyway, let's move on. Let's talk about some more reasons as to why solo leveling is going to be much better. So you're going to make a lot more gold.
Okay, this is the first thing that I
questing.
said.
Yes, I know that when you get to level 80 and then you complete quests at level 80, you get more gold per quest turn-in. But are you honestly going to do that? Okay, are you going to smash all the way to level 80?
Everyone's selling a gold guide now. You know how much gold guides make, man? If you've got a really good gold guide, you make a ton of money. Like I know Jonah's guide is more of a leveling guide, but you know when Classic Vanilla came out, Jonah's leveling guide was like almost universally accepted as being the best leveling guide that there was. There was other ones around as well, but Jonah's was the best one. I paid for it. I know tons of other people that paid for it. He made a ton of money off of that. Like a ton of money off of that stuff. Leveling guides are extremely useful. Like I said, like if you follow a leveling guide, they're organized in a way to allow you to maximize your XP output per hour. So you're going to an area with all the quests that you're going to have before you head there. And it even has you turn things in a way that is much more efficient than what you and I would normally do. Like I like to think I'm a fast leveler. Like when I go through like the barons and stuff like that when I'm leveling at low level. But a lot of my leveling route from like I've got it memorized in my head from 1 to 35. I know exactly where I'm going the entire way. But you know where I got a lot of that stuff from? Was leveling guides. Like it's like, oh wait, okay, so they do this, and I was like, okay, that makes sense. But I've got like the first 35 levels like memorized in my head. But most people, like once they get past that, they don't have every quest memorized and exactly where they're going. So
And then start doing some quests. You're not. Let's be honest, you're not going to do that. What you're going to be doing is farming heroics and doing raids and actually enjoying the game rather than going back and doing some level 70 quest. And regardless, just doing daily quests is just as good anyway, if you want to take that route to make gold. When you level solo, you're going to be making a lot of gold. You'll probably make a decent 2,000 gold by the time you get to level 80. Think about how much time that is going to save. Let's say, for instance, that the leveling speed is the same solo questing or dungeon leveling. But the thing is, if you quest solo, you're going to get a lot of gold. And if you did it leveling through dungeons, you're going to have to farm that gold to level 80. Imagine just having 2,000 gold lying around when you get to level 80. How much time is that going to save? Because you can have
wait,
that
how much
pool
did you
of
say?
gold.
Did you say 2,000? I heard it was like 4,000 because in my last what am I at right now? I'm at 21,000. I had sold the piece for 1,300. I made about 3,000 gold over the last 2 days, and most of that was through leveling. So
Leveling through dungeons, you're going to have to farm that gold to level 80. Imagine just having 2,000 gold lying around when you get to level 80. How much time is that going to save?
I honestly think you'll have more than 2,000
gold for all your raid consumables, and it's going to last you like a good 2 months at least.
yeah, I agree.
Secondly,
agree to that.
you're not going to
you'll
unlock
make more
your
than
reputation tabards. So what you have to do to unlock...
If you're watching this on YouTube, my chat for my stream is not quite working. I'm using a new browser in case you guys... So I forgot to update my chat. I'm trying a new browser out called Opera GX, which is amazing, by the way. It's meant for gamers, but I forgot to make the scene or the source for the browser in the YouTube video, but we'll get that fixed for the next one. But I'm answering their questions as we go along.
Reputation through questing in certain areas of those reputations. Then you get a tabard, then you can just put the tabard on, do heroics, and grind the rep the rest of the way. Pretty straightforward, but you're not going to be able to do that if you're just leveling through dungeons. You don't gain reputation naturally.
The rep was the other one that I mentioned.
Although that is technically a lie. You do get reputation with a particular reputation based on your faction, but you don't normally get the rewards from that faction because the rewards are pretty crap. But anyway, the point being is you're going to waste a lot of time because you're going to hit level 80 and then have to go back and do the questing anyway to unlock your tabards. So it's just going to waste time. And if you're leveling a gathering profession and therefore, be leveling a crafting profession, you won't be able to do them simultaneously either. It is fair enough on launch going to be fairly difficult to level up your mining, but nonetheless you will get opportunities to hit a node here and there. It's going to be more efficient if your goal is to obviously level up your mining. You're going to level up your mining more open world leveling than you ever would do in a dungeon. And if you're still not convinced,
I'm going to be honest,
mentioning that dungeon leveling is incredibly boring. It's
very boring. I'm going to be honest. I don't do professions while I'm leveling up. My goal is to get there as fast as possible, get my fastest mount, and then I just find it's faster to do that. I find that you if you're leveling, you'll outpace your gathering professions, particularly mining, not skinning and but mining and herbalism. Quite often, there's so much competition for those resources that you'll finish the quest long before, and you'll be out of that zone. And the area that you go into, the mining nodes and the herbalism nodes that are in that new zone will be too high level for you. So that means if you want to keep increasing your professions, you have got to go back and keep doing it. And you're usually on a slower mount, especially through like classic or whatever. But you're on a slower mount. You're not flying all that other sort of stuff. It's just better to go back afterwards, in my opinion.
Soul draining, dude. Like, why on earth would you want to do it? Like, why on earth would you opt to do dungeon leveling? I do not understand. You're going to get sick of the Wrath of the Lich King content before you even hit level 80 because you're going to have to do those dungeons all over again at level 80 to farm your badges. Honestly, guys, the average player should not be doing dungeon leveling unless you're going for some round first achievement. Naxxramas isn't releasing until 2 weeks after the launch of the game, so you don't really get that much further ahead by leveling slightly faster because it's only going to take a certain amount of time to do the heroics to farm your pre-raid best in slot gear. I've probably played over like 10 Wrath of the Lich King private server launches by now, and honestly, if you get pretty lucky, you can get all of your pre-raid best in slot gear sorted in about 5 days, and that's leveling from all the way from level 1. Obviously, there is slightly increased XP rates on private servers, but I think you understand my point. And just, honestly, just taking your time, going the normal quest route, making loads of gold in the process, getting all your tabards unlocked, and saving loads and loads of time. The amount of time spent actually playing the game would be drastically less if you just
I agree
follow a
with what
solo
he's saying.
chill questing
I
route
said
than
the same
doing
points
your dungeon
before you
route.
started
The only
even watching the
argument
video.
I can see for people wanting to do dungeon leveling is if you're playing on some stupidly high-populated server with 20 million
Farolina.
people trying to loot one Earth route, then yeah, fair enough. But like I said, I just think those servers are going to get layered more. But anyway, guys, that's going to be the end of the video there. My name is Metagoblin. To the next video. Ciao.
Anyways, a good video by Metagoblin. He's been around for a long time. He's been doing content for vanilla private servers, all that sort of stuff for a very long time. So if you're watching this on YouTube, I would suggest I'll put the links and stuff down below. Definitely go to his video, give him a like, subscribe to his channel. And anyways, as far as my thoughts, I think we nailed everything that he said in the video. Like it's boring to dungeon grind. It is. It may be faster. That's debatable. It probably is a little faster, but I honestly think that one, if you're a casual player, just enjoy the leveling experience first and foremost. If you're wanting to get up in levels fast, if you're not organized, you don't know what quests to do in what order and stuff like that, there are guides out there to help you. If you're not really caring about the lore or the that sort of thing, but you want to level relatively fast, but you don't want to be stuck in a dungeon for 26 hours or whatever it is, 28 hours, then there are guides out there. And I've tried a lot of them. I've tried a lot of them, and I don't want to sound like any one of them are particularly bad. Jonah's guide was great in its day. I haven't used it since the launch of Classic. I know there are other guides that are out there as well. You guys in chat, you guys who are watching the video can probably suggest some. If you're looking for a really, really good one, and again, yes, I do have a code for the guide. I'm not sponsored by them at all anymore. So they, I don't advertise it or anything like that. I'm just saying this as somebody who basically is offering my opinion on this guide. It is, in my opinion, by far the best guide I've ever used. And it's to the point where it makes it almost mind-numbing. Like you follow the little arrow, you can see it on the, hold on a second here. The guide basically takes you from point to point, gives you tips it tells you what you need to do along the way, shows you the quests that you're doing as you're going type of thing, and kind of works through the zone. You've got all the different zones that you can go from, so you just select one or whatever and continue going. If you're interested in buying it, then yes, you can go to their website. If you're, I think it's restedxp.com or something like that. I'll leave the link down below. If you feel like using my code, then go ahead. Yes, there's a little bit of a kickback, but in all honesty, even if it was free, if I got nothing out of it or whatever, instead I get a couple of bucks or something like that. But I'm basically telling you, as somebody that's used all the guides out there, this one is, in my opinion, by far the most organized, the easiest to use. It does little things. Let me show you something. Like if there's 2 quests here, I don't know. This is how nitpicky this guide is. Say there's 2 NPCs. This NPC here and this NPC here does, they both are giving you a quest. Okay. So it has you pick up both quests. Then it'll have you run, say, in this direction to go do a quest. So you go, you pick up, you do the quest, and then it'll have you come back to turn in the quest. And if the follow-up is also to go back this way, and the quest here, this one on the other side, is there's no if there's either no follow-up or the follow-up is not going in the same direction, rather than have you spend the extra time to run over here and then run back this way, So that amount of time that it took me to do that, it actually is so picky about this sort of stuff that it actually will not tell you to turn in that quest right there. It'll actually have you wait. It is little things like that that it blows me away. It's like I'll be at a point where I see two quests to turn in, and it tells me not to like it's having me turn in just the one and then head off in this direction because it's trying to speed you up so fast that you're not actually running this extra little distance just to turn in one extra quest because it knows you're coming back to turn in the follow-up quest and then going and grabbing this. It's really amazing, actually. And the little add-on that they've made for it, it is very easy to use. It's got all the different zones in it and stuff like that for you to level up. And there's a lot of things. I've been playing this game for, what, 17 years now? 18 years, because I played beta. There are a lot of things that this guide is taking me through that I've never, ever seen in the game before. Or I had no idea, or little tricks, or little things like it'll remind you to buy stuff off of the auction house in order to, make sure you have it for quests. It is really, I don't know, really amazing. Anyways, chat as always is agreeing with me. But yeah, otherwise, if you're a casual player, just level up and have fun. If you're wanting to level up fast and you don't know where all the quests are in Northrend, like if you don't know exactly where you're going, you have a route. Like a lot of people had a route in Classic. If you don't really know what you're doing, you're just kind of starting off in Borean Tundra or Howling Ford, and you're kind of like, I want to go kind of fast. Get a guide. There's free ones out there. You don't have to get the one that I'm suggesting. There are free ones out there, but get a guide because they do really help. This one is just by far the best one in my opinion, and well worth the price tag because it's like a lifetime. Like you get to use it for life basically. It's not a month-to-month subscription or any crap like that. It's a one-time fee basically. So anyways, that's just my suggestion. Leveling in dungeons, I agree, is kind of really annoying to do. I did it for the first 3 levels. I was doing it begrudgingly basically, and then I went to that area where it was like the underground mine, and I sat there for basically 4 levels just grinding mobs away. I didn't even spend any time picking up loot. I just sat there and dotted up mobs over and over again because it was a hyper spawn, and I was just blasting things up. And the XP per hour, we calculated it to be around 900,000 XP per hour. I don't know whether it is for the guide. It might be slower. Probably is maybe a little slower, but it's probably a hell of a lot more enjoyable as well, the quests. So anyways, that's my 2 cents. If you enjoyed my commentary, please do me a favor, like and subscribe to the channel. I do stream 6 nights a week, Tuesday through Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern. And yeah, hopefully you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.